It is October 4th, 2017, and this is Atlanta United FC Weekly, a Home Before Dark podcast.
I couldn't get another one.
Trying to be our dedicated burp guy. Anyways, I am Tim Urban. As always, I'm joined by, he's throwing me off. Joined by my lovely co-hosts, Mr. Kevin Bradley across the table, the bearded one, and the British one right across, Mr. Dan James. Dan, how are you?
Doing better than I did yesterday.
Hey, you shaved a full 20 minutes off of your time getting here from last episode. So we're getting close to being on time. It's great. I think eventually you'll be here on time. I'm optimistic. But all of that said, I can't give you too much flack because you pulled through this week, Dan. You did it. You actually contributed. And
so as you guys had seen, actually, do we ever record that part whenever we're talking shit to Dan at the end of the recording?
Record that part. Hence the statement and hence the stickers.
Okay, finally, it took some actual live, some actual recorded commentary to get Dan to finally get a fire under his ass and get those stickers.
Dan, God, that asshole.
Yeah. So as you guys gave us a great response on Twitter whenever we posted the little quote-unquote teaser for these stickers, but we have some Atlanta United FC weekly stickers, Home Before Dark stickers.
You haven't even held one yet.
I haven't yet.
Feel that vinyl.
Don't they feel good?
Feel that vinyl finish.
They're great.
They do feel good. I've been getting a lot of packages like these to my house. Angie's getting a lot of her artwork done. Dan, she wanted me to ask you, who is your rep?
My rep? Oh. Yeah.
Is it Sneezy?
Sandy.
Oh man,
Sandy. Yeah.
Normally Pat does her stuff. Just Pat. You know, like Julia Sweeney on SNL in the '90s, the androgynous character. God damn it! Dang it! God dang it!
Whoa!
I don't use that word.
Going hard.
Sorry, I'm gonna shut down my computer.
Anyway,
so if you want stickers and you don't, so here's the stipulation: if you live in Atlanta, so we paid for these stickers. We paid for the fucking stamps to send these out. If you don't live in Atlanta and you're not going to see us, shoot us a DM on Twitter at Home Before Dark. That's before spelled B and the number 4. Let us know your address and your name, and we'll send you some stickers. Like I said, we got a good little stack of envelopes here. We'll be sending them out to people that have reached out to us so far. So, yeah, be looking for those. Like I said, we got the first wave in yesterday, and we'll be compiling those to send those out the beginning of next week. I almost feel like you have to validate that you've left an iTunes review. I feel like we need some sort of validation here.
So Dean Worley just said, "Can I get mine on the 22nd?" We already put the postage stamp on the letter,
so no, you can get it before.
No, look, I've already wasted. I've wasted a stamp on you now. Okay. You're gonna have it next week. And, suck it up.
So William McLean, hey, all of you guys, we're getting people. Most of the people weren't even paying attention to the beginning of the show. They're all just talking about last night's game, which is great. It's almost like a forum in here. Anyway, about the 22nd, I had a little surprise for you guys. I know we had talked a couple weeks ago about live streaming, doing something. So talk to Robert Swick, the Swickster, our good buddy.
Yeah.
I say good buddy. We've met him once. He's a friend of the show.
Everybody listening to this show is a good buddy.
We family.
We family.
We don't have fans. We have family we talk with. Anyway, Terminus Legion is going to hook us up with parking spots, and they're going to hook us up with power. So we are good to go. We're going to be doing a live stream from the Toronto game inside of the Gulch. Come by and see us on the 22nd. Come say what's up. Come grab a sticker. Come
all the stickers.
Nice. Yeah, Robert joining us in the chat.
What time is that?
I don't know yet.
We'll figure it out.
That's so far away.
It's all right. I mean, these are details we can work out.
Look, he orders one pack of stickers, and now he wants to know. Look, you know what? Whatever time it is, we're going to tell you an hour before so that maybe you'll be there for it.
Yeah.
Thanks. Thanks. That really helps with planning with my 2 kids. That's great.
Yeah, this is like a reverse Dumb and Dumber. Just when I thought you couldn't make anything better, Dan, you go and show up late 2 weeks in a row. No, but seriously, yeah, I'm super excited about that. It'll be the only time so far that we've done a a live broadcast inside of the Gulch or
Yeah,
inside
it'd
of
be
the
a great way to
tailgate.
close out the season too.
Yeah, for sure.
Yep.
It's the last game of the season. Yeah, hopefully we'll still be gunning for that number 2 spot at that point. Hopefully that's what that'll mean.
I'll bring the cat and the baby Bjorn, so it'll be just like you're in the studio.
It'll be natural for us though. We're
Exactly.
always recording live on the week.
Exactly. So yeah, come by, check us out. We'll have the stickers and stuff, and it'll be
Maybe
great.
more. We'll see.
That'd be
Yeah,
ace.
yeah, it'll be great.
Yeah. So speaking of all that, we like to get all of our legal obligations out of the way.
Oh,
at
Kevin
the
Brown,
beginning.
I'm looking at you in particular. Somebody needs to DM us. We got to get your address because I know that you're out of town, and if anybody needs some, it's you.
He's on
traveling-
vacation right now. So.
traveling all over the world. So,
Wait, so did he miss the
that's
game
right.
last
He
night?
is. He is.
Yeah,
out of
he
town.
did.
That's right. He
Is
said
this
that.
the first one he's missed?
I think he missed New England
Wasn't he
too
going to
for
like
vacation.
France or something like
Yeah,
that?
he's going.
Yeah.
He got
Yeah.
It's
Okay.
a terrible excuse getting taken on an international vacation.
Well, he didn't miss much.
with your girlfriend. Yeah. So I think you and I both picked great games to
no
to not
kidding.
be able to
No
attend
kidding.
last
No
night.
kidding.
That game last night, I mean, it was highs and lows, but it was a great game up until
Oh, it was.
extra time.
It absolutely was. So, before we get to
legal obligations as always.
all right. I already called dibs on the
I know,
last one.
I know.
So you read one last week. So Dan's got the next one.
British-
I got it right here, Dan.
British
You're good.
Tim hasn't read one in a while, but
The next to last one.
as
America's
always,
Greatest.
if you're watching us on YouTube, thank you, all you guys in the live chat. You're amazing. But if you're watching post or whatever, if you're not subscribed to the show, hit the subscribe, hit the little notification bell. Let YouTube know whenever we go live, or let you know whenever we go live. And then also, if you're listening to us on iTunes, if you leave a review on iTunes, we'll read it out on the show, no matter what it says,
Right.
as you will find out in
Yeah.
a few minutes.
Yeah.
I listened to that one as well.
Did you? All right.
Am I right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
you're good.
So Dan with the first one.
Just sex. Oh no, that was the podcast Kevin was just listening to. America's greatest MLS pod. 5 stars. As a distant Atlanta United fan from Knoxville, TN, I'm not able to get to many matches. 3rd match on October 22nd. You guys got to keep me up to date on all things Atlanta, MLS, and Orlando sucking. Keep up the good work, fellas. I know TN's Tennessee. I just panicked.
I read out abbreviations.
All right, guys. You know the deal.
Yeah. So as we said, legal obligations.
Rules are rules.
Ruse is ruse, as we like to say in the South.
Ruse is ruse, which is what the title of this is, left by ATL Jeb. Listening to this podcast is one of the highlights of my week. I'm not sure how much that says about me, but whatever. General hipster soccer commentary is not what you'll find here. It is the same feel as this SEC football conversation, even though the SEC is garbage this year, and is in keeping with the region
didn't
and
say
its
that.
market. The only thing you're missing is having unreasonable callers call in and make wild accusations and predictions. Paul. I've never seen the YouTube live feed, but I listen to the pod on my drives to work. And as such, I know that you, per your verbal agreement, have to read this on air. So let us begin. Boobs. Jermaine Jones is a peaceful and kind soul deserving of my love. We have a cat in our studio. Orlando's mascot is a lion. This is an endorsement of their club and all of their reasonable and in no way irrational fans. And just for fun, I slit the sheet I slit upon the slitted sheet I sit. Now say toy boat 10 times. Keep up the good work, boys. And of course, Orlando's not the South.
See,
Well
that's,
done.
that's creativity.
Well done. Well done. I like it.
Fantastic.
So down to brass tacks, we got a long list of points. A lot of people,
But
kind
not
of-
many points that we took away from the game.
yeah, a lot of people buzzing about last night. Yeah, so I know that Mouths of the South are gracious enough to have everybody shoot over here before they go over to go and listen to them. They're recording at 9:30, and they're going to be doing kind of the as Jay Riddle said, the therapeutic candle kind of therapy session that they're going to be going, kind of a somber. I want to keep this kind of upbeat.
Let's just punch it in the mouth.
Yeah, dude,
I love that half broken Southern accent.
Right.
Let's just punch it in the mouth.
Punch it in the mouth.
oh, hey guys, let's
Punch it when I get home.
Stop.
I'm gonna punch your mama in the mouth.
See, I like my beer like I like my violence. I'm not gonna even gonna finish that one.
Lukewarm.
Good.
Hey man, we're still in the playoff. No, seriously, we are still in the playoffs.
We are, but
we are a bad weekend away from dropping down to 5th. Is that right? Something like that.
I don't even want to think about that possibility. So, all right, we can keep it upbeat, whatever. But at the same time, I can only do so much. And so, on a positive note, if we start talking about Saturday, we at least come away with a point. Or is that Sunday? Is that Saturday? Sunday. Saturday. New England game. Yeah, I hear it too. Is it your fan?
I don't know.
Oh well. Maybe that. I don't know. So New England game, ugly game, but we at least come away with a point. Pretty optimistic going into the game last night. That said, I think the performance last night, as Dan said, was great up until that last 10 minutes. And that last 10 minutes is almost unforgivable for me.
Really? Finish your point.
I understand. You can make all of, and with good reason. There were a lot of things.
Sentence.
There were a lot of reasons why you
Don't
can say you can forgive those 10 minutes, whether it's the fact that you've got a 4th string keeper in, or the fact that the ref fails to maintain any sort of control over the game for the full 90 minutes. Or
you're playing with your third choice left back after 35 minutes, something like that.
I get it. Like I said, or you're playing a man down. I understand all of these things. That said, you have the lead with 10 minutes left in the game to close it out and secure a second place, or at least secure your own destiny with a second place position in the league. I expect more out of players playing at a professional level, regardless of whether they're second string, first string, 4th string. And some of the things that took place were inexcusable, in my opinion, in that last 10 minutes. I get that they're gassed. I get all of these factors. That said, it's 10 minutes. And you are in a position in your first year to take second seed going into the playoffs, and you shat the bed and gave up 2 goals in 10 minutes. I can't justify that, especially a team that I've watched play for 30 weeks now. And I get that, like I said, I get all of the stuff. Like I've seen every excuse in the book, and I get all that. But at the same time, anybody who's played soccer or knows soccer at all knows whenever you're in that position, you just park the bus. I mean, and they didn't even do that. They're stretching the field. Tata doesn't make his 3rd substitution to burn a little bit of extra time or get fresh legs in there, which would have at least remedied some of the complaints about fatigue or whatever it may have been, to get somebody else on, because he only used the 2, right? He used the one for Rainish, and then he used the other for Kenwin with.
No, he used all 3.
Did he use all 3? I thought
he actually put Jeff Lorenowitz in the 84th.
Oh, that was right. Lorenowitz did come in.
Park the bus.
Ambrose came in, and then Lorenowitz. I forgot about that. You're absolutely right. Nonetheless, okay, so now you've got Ambrose and Lorenowitz in, 2 more defensive players, and you still can't close it out in the 85th minute. I don't get it. I don't understand how that takes place. I can forgive the first goal. First goal's great, but those second 2, whether it's the keeper out of position or defenders not stopping the run in, or a set piece that Atlanta's been susceptible to all season, but seemed to at least be a little bit more competent in going into the past 4 or 5 weeks. I just don't get it. I don't get it at all.
We're just gassed. We've played 7 or 8 games in a month, which is more than any other MLS team has been playing in that position.
But at the same time, I feel like knowing that the player, I get it. Like I said, I understand that the players are gassed, and they know that they're gassed. But at a certain point, you've got to recognize that push to overcome that for that 10 minutes secures you a position to potentially not be gassed in a playoff spot that gets you a bye in the first round.
Right, but I mean, I don't think you could have asked. They came from a 1-0 lead down with 10 men, and with 10 men scored 2 goals and took a lead.
Absolutely.
And they held that lead for 30 minutes.
Absolutely.
Well, actually, almost 40 minutes.
But it wasn't by doing what they needed. Like, they held that lead, but it wasn't. But they were still
minutes.
They were still even though they had that lead. It's not like they were playing defensively once they got that lead. They were still just overstretching themselves.
Right, but we can't park the bus. We don't know how to do that.
Exactly, but you've got to be able to close out those.
Team.
I get that, but you have to be able to do that. You're telling me that people can't just sit back and play defense? Like, that's not an excuse to me. Or it is an excuse, I guess I should say. Like, saying that you can't just – I could believe you can't play quick counters or attack because you don't have that strategy, but just playing defense, that doesn't register to me whatsoever. Considering everything that's on the line.
Right, but everything's on the line, but everything was against us in this. I mean, they should have been 2 players down in the first half.
Not should have been. I don't care about should have been, because that doesn't, like, should have and could have doesn't. I mean, we should have parked the bus, but it obviously doesn't have anything.
We should have defended the lead. It's
exactly
the same argument.
But I don't know how you don't.
I can't take all these factors and just dismiss all these factors and say, well, you should have won the game.
But defending the lead is in your control versus not getting a call because the ref didn't call it. That's never going to be in your control.
I think the biggest blunder was taking Gressel off and replacing him with Lorenowitz, because Lorenowitz, it seemed like, in hindsight, I probably would have made that sub too. But I mean, in the heat of the game, I probably would have made that sub too, because it made sense what we were trying to do. We were trying to park the bus. We were trying to get an extra defender on. But then what we do better is when we stretch the field, when we try and push up and defend from the front. So when we've got...
But how does that, but to that same logic, if that is what's better, but all of our players are gassed, what point does that, like, they're too gassed to play on the other end because they can't get back to defend to begin with, rather than just pulling back and staying.
Right, but if you keep the ball out of your final third, then they're not going to be able to score the goals.
I disagree.
Well, how are you going to score? They scored the goals both within 10 feet of our goal. So if you don't allow them to get in that close, and you don't allow them in the final third of our field,
right? But there's a difference. Okay, whenever I say park the bus, I'm not saying necessarily all 10 players on the field are inside the 6-yard box. I'm saying on our half of the field, not necessarily on inside of our 18. There's a big difference in being inside of their 18 and having everybody on the other side of the pitch waiting for a long ball forward versus playing defensively back on our half. There's a big difference in that, in my opinion. I just don't understand why. I just don't understand how that happens.
Well, I mean, the second goal I was on Lorenowitz. He turned off, and he probably wasn't vetted into the game at that point.
There's just there's circumstances around both goals that I don't think ever should have even gotten to that point. You know, like the first goal comes in. I don't even know what the keeper's name is that we had in.
Tim Backus?
Yeah. He lost sight of the ball. Like, he couldn't even see it because of the 2 players that were directly in front of it. He's like trying to get an eye around and can't even.
It was a shitty goal. That second goal. I watched
it
dribble over the line, and I was
definitely
so disappointed.
Was. But at the same time, I don't think it should have even gotten to that point to where that player had an opportunity to take a shot. Like, and I don't know how that happens. And that's not even symptomatic of not parking the bus or parking the bus. It's just, there's no excuse for that. Again, back to what I said before, it's just inexcusable by a team that was in a position to be second seed to give up both of those goals the way they did. What are your thoughts, Tim? Sorry.
You're fine.
I'm assuming live chat's.
Yeah, it is. I don't know. So, okay. Couple things. I agree wholeheartedly with Dan. We are not a team built to park the bus. We're not a defensive team. Our defense comes from ball work.
Yeah.
Our defense does not come from a stout defensive line. Our defense comes from being able to work the ball around people and being able to get in just positional awareness more than you said it first week of the season. I want to see what this team is like whenever we have a bunch of guys in the box and what happens. So we've had some people chime in. Joe Patrick from Dirty South Soccer joining us in the live chat, putting that second goal that Christian Ramirez scored on Tyrone Mears. And it's the same exact scenario that's happened time and time and time and time again where we give somebody room to cross the ball.
Yeah.
I mean, Chris McCann allowed 2, if not 3 of those goals against Orlando by not pushing towards somebody. I think Mears did the same thing against DC.
Oh, Mears probably did that in 4 or 5 games.
Right.
Yeah.
So it is, Brittany, yes, you're right. It's lazy defending. It's 100% lazy defending. This is what happens when you don't have Anton Walks playing on that right side.
Well, that's also, again, like, I get that it's lazy defending, but that's the thing about quote unquote parking the bus that allows you to do that is it's next man up. You're not having to rely just on those 4 people in the backfield.
Who's Mears' next man up at that point? Because we're playing without a forward.
True.
We have Tito that's kind of pushing in and out of that right wing / forward position at that point.
Right. At that point in the game, that's the thing that was frustrating was like, so to Dan's point, if you want to have somebody up top, I don't know why you need to have Villalba, Assad. Who else was in at that point?
Gressel?
No, Gressel had already been subbed out.
Gressel came out.
I know Villalba and Assad were both still up way.
Villalba was pushed up further.
Right.
But Assad was coming back, but they would switch in and out.
Right.
But I mean, Villalba's defending was, a lot more than fricking the fucking statue Cameron Jones was doing.
Oh God, that's a whole other discussion. About just
how
the
much better did we get when he went off?
Exactly.
We should have just
scored both of those
men.
goals. Exactly. Absolutely.
Okay, so a couple things. There was a complete shift in the game. We'll get to refereeing at some point. I think
I'm not going to talk about it. I've already said my piece on defending. Like, it was god awful that ref did not have control of that game. But I can't blame defending or can't blame.
No, I'm not going to blame
on that loss at all.
No, I think that we need a bigger discussion on VAR in general. Because it was apparent last night that there's no consistency whatsoever.
No, there's absolutely
the inconsistency on the field from PRO referees is transitioning into the box, even with guys that have monitors that are supposed to be suggesting these things to the person on the field. Anyway, so there was a shift whenever Rainish got sent off. First of all, I know you want to say we can't. I mean, you want to talk about the variables of having a 4th string keeper in at some point, a 3rd string left back in at some point. Okay, so we're starting with Kenwin Jones, who has played, he's played 1 game in the past 2 months.
Right.
Horrible decision. To me, this game's 100% on Tata Martino.
Yeah. I agree with that.
I think he did a horrible job of
I don't
managing.
understand what the hell we were doing starting him.
No.
Peterson would have been so much of a better starter.
100%. 100%. So
we probably would have at least scored a goal in the first half if Peterson was scoring.
Why wasn't Tito playing up there?
I like Tito on the wing. I liked his position in the game.
Right, but in games where we've been without Joseph Martinez, we've pushed Tito up to the front and been okay and successful. I mean, whether you think of the Toronto game where it was 2-2 up at TFC Stadium, and then I'm trying to remember the other game that we won with Tito scoring up front. But we're without Guzan. We're without Joseph, both of those guys on international duty. We're without Almiron, obviously, with a hamstring injury for a couple more weeks. We're without Brandon Vasquez, I believe, is another hamstring injury. Is that right?
Yeah, he's out for a couple of weeks.
It's like six weeks. Garza's out.
Garza may be out the rest of the season at this point.
Well, that's what Doug Robertson.
4 to 6 weeks.
Yeah, Doug Robertson from the AJC put he tweeted something. He tweeted something really depressing when he was saying that what if we don't get to a certain point in the playoffs?
Exactly.
Greg Garza may never see the field again for Atlanta United.
Yeah.
So there. First of all, I don't.
He may see the field. I mean,
yeah.
Doug doesn't know.
Yeah, that's true. So we're without Vasquez, but still, Jones is not the obvious start up there. There's so many permutations of this formation or this lineup that you can put in. You can have, as you said, and if people say in the live chat, you can have Jacob Peterson up front, right? You can move Tito up front,
right,
and then put Gressel. There's so many different ways that you can mess around with this team.
You can put Gressel on the wing, put Villalba up front, and then put Kratz in the middle. I mean,
put Chris McCann, push him up further, and put Mikey Ambrose in to start the game. So you have some sort. I mean, it's one thing. Garza is a good enough defender to where he can deal with Assad on the left. He and Assad can work together because the two of them are good enough combination. Whenever you have Assad and Mikey Ambrose is he's a wing back. He doesn't play. He's not a good defender. And these days, I mean, and he had a couple shining moments, mostly in the U.S. Open Cup, but he looked like a decent enough wingback going forward, putting in crosses, creating chances. You can't have that guy playing whenever Assad's playing up in front of him. Assad's not going to give him enough coverage coming back. Kratz is not going to give him enough coverage coming back.
Well, I mean,
why wasn't Lorenowitz starting in this game?
I don't understand.
I understand he's 34 years old. He's probably tired after this long stretch of games.
Yeah,
but we said it time and time and time again. I think we got lucky. I want to say it was against, was it Montreal or who was it where we actually played Kratz and Carmona together in the midfield and won the game?
Oh, yeah. I think it was Montreal, if I'm not mistaken.
Whenever Almiron got hurt.
Yeah.
So it's happened a couple times where you're missing, where you don't have the right balance in that midfield. If you have those two guys that are playing an actual true midfield
I think
role.
it was actually Philly.
It was Philly. Yeah, you're right. If you have those two guys that are playing a true midfield role together, you have to have some sort of balance because you have wingers on either side and then you have deep set wingers behind them. I mean, Walks isn't necessarily a wing back, but he gets forward a lot for a guy his size.
But you can't even have that conversation because Walks isn't in this game.
Exactly.
But to feed into that, it goes back to the point I was making before. All of this, and the point I made weeks ago, whenever you're talking about what you can and can't give up on a team, and last night was a testament to that, where it begins and ends on defense. And if this team can't put away a game on defense, whenever you've got your fourth, like I get that some of these players are second string, like the worst substitution or the only player on that field that had no business being there and was never intended to be on that pitch was our goalkeeper at that point in the game.
At the end?
Yeah. When was that ever? So to that point,
wait, Tim Backus?
Yeah. When was he ever going to be in a position to where he would have to play?
I get what you're saying.
We didn't have a choice. There's either him or Assad.
I'm not saying that. What I'm saying is to make this point about the people on the pitch and their roles in the squad, and they've been in and out of this lineup. The one person that hasn't been in this lineup at all and was probably never intended to be was this 24-year-old goalkeeper that was never going to be in goal. Now he's in there to try to stand on his head and secure this, and it falls on that defensive line and the rest of the team to back up that defense to make sure that they've got that goalkeeper's back, in my opinion, and to hold on to that lead. Whether you're built to park the bus or not, that's what you have to do in that scenario. That's what's so frustrating to me. I get what you're saying, that this team isn't built to do that game in and game out. But situationally, last night was a unique scenario where you had a key player that they just smelled blood in the water at that point, and then the rest of Atlanta United gave them the opportunity to capitalize on that by not shutting down those opportunities before they even developed. And that's what's frustrating to me. Regardless of if it's Ambrose or Kratz or McCann, these are all people that we've seen in and out of this team and out of this lineup all season. Even Kenwyn Jones, like, you're right, he was the worst player on that pitch that we've seen that's played so far. But in goal, the key position you need to make a big play, I mean, you could just see it on his face. Like, he wasn't prepared to be in there,
No.
Yeah, he was not expecting.
No, not at all.
First of all, I want to give a shout out to Brandon Scott, new viewer in the live chats, his longtime fan of the podcast. Appreciate it. And I agree with him. I'm sure Dan does too. After that point, he said Assad would have done it.
Exactly. I mean, you might have been better putting Assad in there.
No, see,
no.
And I'm not putting it on him. I'm not putting it on him at all. I'm just saying that this team needs to have a little bit more awareness, in my opinion, at what's at stake and their leadership or maturity in playing together in whatever capacity and whatever role, to have his back just as much as you would expect him to have theirs. And that's when you need a team to lean on. I mean, you really do. And I felt like that defense or that strategy to secure that lead just fell apart.
Okay, so a couple points. When was the last time we had a really, truly successful game where Tyrone Mears played the full 90 minutes at right back? I'm trying to be 100% serious. I know it's a funny subject. We're not supposed to be making fun of him. We're not funny enough, according to that person inside of the comment section on YouTube. He's not fit for a full 90 minutes to play with this team. So again, you're right though. I mean, that's why I was saying this loss. The guy's a veteran. He can take the loss. This is Tata Martino's fault up and down because you start off making errors in lineup that way. And you lose McCann, or you have to pull McCann out. Did McCann get injured? I had to walk away from the TV at a moment.
So he got subbed off pretty early. It wasn't clear, and there was no statement that I've seen that he is injured.
Okay, I didn't think so. I thought he just got pulled off for.
But it's weird that he went. I didn't think he was playing too badly when they took him off. I was surprised at the substitution.
No, see, you don't. I agree. So first of all, you lose a substitution doing that.
Right.
And putting in Mikey Ambrose. Mikey Ambrose, whatever, veteran
great
guy.
Game. He had a great game.
Yeah, I thought he was fine. You set yourself up for failure though, because at that point you already have used a sub before halftime.
Mm-hmm.
And then 60th minute rolls around. Rainish is very unlucky to barely miss that ball sliding out in the free kick. We could talk about this position though, or we could talk about the decision. Sorry, not position. We could talk about that decision in a minute. Because I do want to talk about the refereeing. I've been very good about biting my tongue this year after we said we weren't going to talk about refereeing. But you lose a substitution, not only a substitution, but you lose a man on the field.
Mm-hmm.
And you're down a goal.
Yeah.
Like, he did not put us in a great position last night. You're right. We need to be able to have enough awareness to realize when we need to swivel on our heads or pivot it, whatever. Using all kinds of buzzwords, stop on a dime and pivot and get on your head. And we need more synergy, and we need to ideate better during the pregame. I don't know. What's crazy is like we had people in the chat last week, and I've felt this way since after they picked up Mark Birch. And I can't remember the other veteran defender's name was that Minnesota picked up. They're not a terrible team.
No.
They're a totally different team.
Yeah, you're talking about a team that went from being, a lot of people thought they were going to end up being the worst expansion team in history, the way that they were getting drubbed week in and week out to start the season. And they've turned into, they're a formidable force. You talk about the guys that they have up front. Christian Ramirez didn't even start the game. He comes in. What does he do? He scores a goal, albeit, that's an awareness goal. That's a positional awareness goal. Hits it with the side of his calf, right?
Yeah, it was awful.
Yeah, exactly.
But things were going to happen.
Dunlady might be
going to bounce the wrong way.
The number one pick in the MLS draft this year. Dunlady comes in, or he starts. He scores a beautiful goal against us. Nothing against that. We played against a pretty good side last night. That's why I said we got to stay positive. We went down a man, had a manager that made terrible choices to start the game, came back, storming back in the second half, took the lead, probably should have put another one in whenever Tito drug the ball. No, it's fine. Everybody does. That's not, I'm not blaming him for missing that opportunity whenever he got into the box late in the game. But Kevin Molino he's been one of the best attackers or playmakers in the West.
I don't think I would be as upset as I am about last night or what transpired if it wasn't the 30th week in the season and we're looking at playoffs right now.
Well, yeah.
Because what happens whenever we're in this exact same scenario and it's elimination and you're out? A loss and you're out. You've got to be able to put this away. And
yeah, but this game we're in the playoffs. This game was never as important as getting into the playoffs.
That's another thing is Minnesota. If they would have lost last night, they would have been statistically eliminated from the playoffs. And the way that the West is going, you're looking at Dallas and Houston, who halfway through the season were the number 1 and 2 teams in the West, are going to miss out on the playoffs potentially.
Right.
You're talking about a West that's a wild, wild West.
Absolutely.
And they could easily be the second expansion team to make it to the playoffs this year. It's crazy.
Yeah.
We're the first.
They're not getting in the playoffs.
We're the first ones to do it since 2009.
This is probably the biggest win for them. It's a 3-2 win. We've still beaten them 8-4 on aggregate. It's not like, I know that doesn't matter, but they got lucky last night.
No, yeah.
Yes, the attacking players played well, but show me this 9 times out of 10, and this will be the one win.
Justin Bosman, new guy in the live chat. Thanks for joining us. I don't think have you seen him before? I don't know if he's it says the Revolution need to get Ronaldo. Sorry.
So talking about the back line, I don't see what else you could do with the back four. I would have played that back four as well.
No, I have no problems with. I mean, aside from,
I still want to know what the hell happened with Mark Bloom.
Aside from Kenwin, I would.
I'm okay with the whole lineup. I like I said, I thought the game outside of that last 10 or 15 minutes was a great game, and it doesn't invalidate you guys' points. Like, they came in a man down, played their hearts out to come up, get the equalizer, get the lead. But then to lay down, not only to allow them to tie it, but then to also let them take the lead in the amount of time that they did, in the position that they were in, to have, like, they had their own fate in their own hands. And I just, it breaks my heart, man. Like, 30th week. Like, again, if this game was week 4 or 5 or 6, during that stretch whenever Joseph's out or whatever, okay, I get it. But at the same time, that's not where we are. Just as much as Minnesota isn't the team that they were whenever we played them, I would assume that we're not the same team either, and that we're better and we're more mature and we have the ability to close out games with a lead, or at least maintain the tie whenever they get a late equalizer, not just roll over with 15 minutes left on the clock, considering what was on the line. Because, again, we are a playoff team regardless. That said, whenever we're in the playoffs and we're in this exact same position, I have no faith that we know how to close out a game whenever we need to.
I don't think we rolled over at all. I think we've had plenty of games where we've come from behind and we've won it in stoppage time.
I don't know that they necessarily rolled over as much as it is they just seemed shell-shocked. Like, they did not see – they were on their heels the entire time. From, like, there just something happened. It was just before Minnesota scored the equalizer. They just, not that they rolled over, they just didn't do what they needed to do to close it out. And that's what's frustrating. But they just looked, they had this deer in the headlights look that matched this 4th string goalkeeper. That was so, man, I don't know his fucking name because I'm an asshole, but still. I shouldn't have to know his name, damn it.
I think we're just gassed, and I think there are just limits to human endurance, and we just ran up into it. And the whole game aligned up perfectly for Minnesota. And to be honest with you, for them allowing us to come back and score 2 goals, you are a shitty team.
Okay, so to that point, we'll go back to positive. I'll get off of this fucking dreadful, depressing horse. Julian Gressel has to lock up Rookie of the Year last night, right?
Oh, my gosh. Yeah, absolutely.
Jesus, what a performance out of him.
I thought we already established that last week.
Yeah, exactly.
No, I know, but
just solidifying his game.
No, I think he locks it up.
He dug that foundation 10 feet deeper.
Yeah, no, what I was going to say last night, I started thinking about Julian Gressel. I feel like he's a guy that could be I don't think he's ever going to be a world beater that ends up in Europe or ends up in England.
No, I think he'll stay with us.
I think he can be a great just cog. He could be a great centerpiece, actually. Yes, Dean, 100% that. Well, first, the pass from
Gressel to Assad that starts it off.
To find Assad, and then for Assad to be able to turn around and then quick cut to the left, hit that overlapping ball to Gressel, and for Gressel to be able to cut in like that, and be able to use his off foot to get into the upper left corner. It was beautiful. So
I had visions of Martinez back when we were talking about last week, Kevin, with him not passing it off.
Yeah, exactly.
So, okay, I gotta beat the dead horse that's in the room. The refereeing last night.
Go for it. Okay,
we have our buddy Dean Worley, who you guys hear us talk with every week in the live chat.
I'm on the show next show. Next show, Dean, you're on.
Yeah. I now like to refer to Dean Worley as poor beaten down Dean Worley.
He agreed with me.
He's an Arsenal fan.
He's going to be on the show now.
So he says that the refereeing, there was only one mistake, and I wholeheartedly disagree with that.
Wait, this is what Dina said?
Yeah, so the refereeing was not the reason for the loss last night. It's not, but I don't think that means that
could have helped though.
That doesn't mean that the refereeing last night was great either.
No,
I
it's
thought
awful.
what is his name? Armando Villarreal.
Yeah.
I thought he was piss poor for the most part.
Absolutely.
He didn't even. So you said he got beamed with that bottle, which we don't.
I don't condone it, but Jesus.
Yeah, unless that person was like front row, that was a hell of a shot. Even if they were front row,
You sign that dude to the Falcons.
I bet it's some kid who's really good at the water bottle challenge. Just flip it, land it on his head. We don't condone that, but he didn't even make that call. Right. He had to go to VAR to even be told that Rainish came in and missed and
yeah, I thought the Rainish red was the right call.
Okay,
and then I also
was.
thought that he missed the foul on Villalba, which should have been a red. And then
So bad.
the other guy, I think the
Okay,
foul
so-
on Villalba was
yes, that was Calvo, and he's their captain, he's their best defender, and he should have been sent off. That was an absolutely egregious foul.
Mm-hmm.
You're talking about he not only slid in, missed, and then followed through, had his leg lifted up, studs
he kicked
straight
him
to
in the knee.
straight to the inside of the leg. That was a horrible foul. That's worse than anything Rainish did last night.
right.
Rainish was the victim of just
Location on the field.
split second and location. And I saw the discussion last night of the rule book, looking at was that a denial of a true goal scoring opportunity, what Rainish did last night, because the ball is going to the outside.
Yeah.
So
He was put in a bad position.
there are technicalities you can place on that. Maybe give him a yellow. With Calvo, the fact that he didn't even have the guy chirping in his ear to go to VAR to say, hey, man, he could have broke that guy's leg. Or as Sir Alex Ferguson would have said, he almost killed him.
Yeah, I mean, he did. He almost killed him.
Yeah, no. So you had that. And then I believe you were about to bring up Kalman's 2 elbows to the side of LGP.
Yeah. How dare he?
Was it 2 So I was listening. So I had to work late, and I was listening to it on the way home. I heard the foul. I heard Longshore and Adam Birch talking about or calling that whenever Kalman hit him in the head with that elbow.
Mm-hmm.
And then I came home and we put the game on, and I want to say I saw a second one.
Yes.
Okay, it was 2. It wasn't just a replay that they were showing. Okay.
No, there was one. I think the first instance was red cardable, and then the second instance was at least a yellow card, which would have been 2 yellows. So he kind of got lucky twice. So, I mean, it was just, he's having a giraffe.
Yeah, it was absolutely. Kevin's over here just chirping away. So
you guys talking about refs? I've got nothing to say about it. It's fucking stupid. I agree with all of it. Yes, but there's nothing you can do about that.
It levels out. Everyone's got to do it.
No, but that's the thing. You say there's nothing you can do about it, but we implemented a system league-wide to do something about it.
Yeah.
What?
I mean, they're going
what are you supposed to do? I guess PRO refs are just as bad at looking at a monitor when they have a view and replay of something as they are whenever they're on the field.
But we're going to have these idiosyncrasies with VAR. Like when you implement it in the new system, people just need to get it. It just needs to be vetted out, and it's going to take. Probably we'll be dealing with the same stuff next season, but surely after that, hopefully something will be put in place. I heard one idea was, why don't they just pair up the center official and the VAR guy, and they are constantly together throughout all games to develop some chemistry between themselves. So that, I mean, that might be a good idea.
I just find it ridiculous. Their captain, best defender in Calvo, who almost got like on the FIFA cover, I believe, during that voting session.
You are not going to be playing for Minnesota and get on the FIFA cover. Come on.
Yeah. Anyway, that was a terrible. That was
a pity vote.
I'm sorry. That was just a terrible foul, and the fact that he didn't even get carded for that is beyond me.
Yeah. Oh, I want to hear some Dean Worley in the chat. I want to hear the conversation in the refs mic. Me too. Just like you do in rugby. That would be great.
Yeah. I agree. It's
because I mean, I feel like a lot of stuff is like what you're just perplexed as a fan. Like you don't understand.
So this is the thing that makes me hesitant about VAR is that I feel like it has allowed refs a crutch to not make the call on the field and then using the VAR to validate it. And that's how it should be, not the other way around, which I think is how it's being utilized. And either refs aren't using it or not making a call and then using it to validate it, or just I just don't. It just seems like a broken system in that it's not being utilized the way it's intended to be. And refs either
you want the call first,
exactly,
and then you want to give opportunity like they do in football.
Exactly, that's how it should be, and that's how I mean that's how the sport was intended to be. Is that it's up to the ref's discretion on whether or not to make the call, and then VAR should be there to validate that or disprove it. That's the whole point of it. Not I'm not going to make a call, and then I'm going to go do VAR to see if I should have made a call. That doesn't make any sense to me whatsoever. And I don't think that's how it should be.
That's a kind of like pussyfooting around.
Exactly.
It's
exactly. That's not how it should be, because that completely eliminates the ref's ability to maintain and control the composure and pacing of the game, which is what they're there for. Mm-hmm. It's not like football in that it's there's not a black and white necessarily. Like I mean, there is, but there isn't. And so that's what's frustrating to me. That said, regardless of how it's being utilized or not, you have no fucking control over it. What you do have control over is how you play and how you close out a game. That's what I'm frustrated.
To channel my inner Mama June, it is what it is.
Guys, I'm an asshole, and I accidentally put one of our new listeners in timeout. I didn't even know you.
Oh, Justin. I was wondering, he deleted his message. I wonder what he did. But it was Tim.
Yeah, I didn't mean to.
I thought Kevin was going to put Dean in timeout for his Clemson comments.
No, I let Clemson's play speak for itself.
I didn't even know that. I didn't even know that was the thing. You can put somebody in timeout it says for 300 seconds, and I guess it went back and
wait. So he's on timeout right now. Can he at least hear us? I guess he can't hear us.
He could probably hear us.
Apologize.
I'm sorry. See, I'm sorry, Justin Bosman. I'm going to the tape. Going to the tape.
Look, so see, you made the wrong call, but you made a call. Now we can review the scenario and what really transpired. Clearly, it was a mistake on Tim's part and should have never happened. Therefore, the call is reversed. Tim has now been muted in the chat.
What the fuck?
Anyway, New England Revolution game. Anything to talk about in that game? Other than
garbage.
It was a garbage game. I actually fell asleep at the end.
Brad Guzan got man of the match.
I was really tired that day.
Fucking terrible.
Yeah.
I've got nothing to say on the new. I think last night was just.
It was such a.
It was a fucking roller coaster.
It was such a punch in the gulch.
It was. It really was.
In the chunch.
And
punch to the chunch.
Again, I cannot say it enough. Had this happened 25 weeks ago, I wouldn't be nearly as. I mean, it would be upsetting, but the fact that we are looking at playoffs right now and what that means for this lineup. Granted, it's not going to be the same lineup. It's not going to be the same scenario going into the playoffs, and you would hope that the players that we do have in our starting 11 would be able to close that out. But still, knowing, I mean, it's kind of like you're half looking at this season and half looking at next too, in a way, because some of those players that are playing last night may be starting next year, depending on how things shake out with who stays and who goes.
Right. Dear God, I hope not, except for Chris McCann. I'm cool with Chris McCann starting and staying. I think that's fine, but no.
Wait, what?
No, I have more faith. So, Kevin's talking about not worst case scenarios, but not ideally, Chris McCann could be starting next year, which I'm okay with if that's the case, because he's been playing all right as a deployed left back.
I mean, the Gaza thing didn't go through.
Yeah. So a couple things.
I hope Parker starts again next year. Mears will probably be gone. LGP better be here.
Dean does have a good point. Trying to watch that game on that fucking field was mind-numbing.
Yes.
I think that may have led to the draw more so than the play, because you can't tell if you're inbounds or out of bounds half of the time because of where the sidelines are actually painted.
That is just bullshit.
Awful.
It should not be
awful.
A problem.
No, it shouldn't. That was awful.
Like even when Green Bay, when the Vikings, their Metrodome collapsed under snow. And so they had to play all their home games at the University of Minnesota's field, which is the same field that Minnesota United play on.
Yeah.
And I tell you what, when the Vikings played, there was no others like team names in the end zone or anything. So there's no excuse why New England had all that Patriot stuff on. Apparently, listen to Doug from the AJC. He was saying that after the game, the crew was coming in to touch up all the Patriots paintwork on the field.
God. So that is an example of who runs that field. Like, you want to, all the people that want to talk about Atlanta United versus the Falcons and who plays in what stadium, that shit sure as hell doesn't happen.
No,
here.
it doesn't.
It's definitely disappointing at the least to see that. That is an example. I speak okay English.
So
I think that's anyway, that's an example where Orlando fans might have a point with actual soccer specific stadiums for teams who have to share. That is sharing your field.
Yeah,
we don't share our field.
Hey, can I make a point? People are talking about walks. So they're saying Walk signed with Tottenham till 2019, and Dean was asking if there's a buyout clause, and there isn't. It doesn't matter if there's not a buyout clause. As long as we offer enough money that Tottenham are willing to take for Walks, then you can just rip up his contract and he'll come play for us. However, do we want to offer him the amount of money that Tottenham will accept? So that's the deal. It's not like he's never gonna. It's not like it's a closed door.
Yeah. All right. So any other thoughts? What do you think about going? So obviously none of the score predictions were right. I'm not even going to read
them. We have any other things? Friday, biggest qualifier in our lifetime for the U.S. men's national team.
Yeah.
If we lose to Panama, we're fucked.
Really?
Yeah.
Is it win or you're out?
I am pretty sure, yes.
Is anyone worried about the Red Bulls game? I'm terrified.
Why? They've drawn.
That's not this weekend, though, is it?
No, it's next weekend.
Exactly,
yeah, it's the 16th, right?
15th,
or 15th, sorry. Yeah, New York, I want to say their record over the... So actually, let's do a little MLS recap. I mean, we haven't been watching, but in terms of looking at the results and, the form of teams in the East, because like I said, we could end up with a 5th spot. When all is said and done,
if we play like we did the past 2 games, we most certainly will.
There are no more games in hand for anybody except New York. New York has a game in hand. They're way too far gone. They're 13 points behind second place. But you have Columbus, who's in 5th right now. In their last 5, they have 3 wins, 2 draws.
Right.
So
are we pulling for Orlando next Sunday?
Fuck. Matias Ortega joining us in the live chat for the first time in weeks. Welcome back, buddy.
These next 2 games are, I agree, Brittany S. I'm terrified of these next 2 games because that's the thing about what happened against New England. Again, why this is so fucking frustrating is that you're playing New England and Minnesota. You have 2 gimme games, one of which you're in a position to win. Like, you have the fucking lead. Like, it's done. Close it out. Now you have 2 games against the New York Red Bulls and the fucking Supporter Shield winner right now.
Right. Like, yeah. Well, New York has 4 points in their last 5 games, 4 draws out of 5.
Yeah, they haven't won a game I got tired of scrolling. But I don't know. Red Bulls, man, you just can't count them out.
No, you can't because they have one of the best forwards in the league. Right. And they have one of the best young players who's maybe going to be the future in the midfield alongside Christian Pulisic, Tyler Adams. Right. And they're starting to give him kind of free reign. So I don't think Bruce Arena is...
Plus it's in New York.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm not.
Well, that's revenge for us, man. We want to talk about... People talk about teams getting revenge on us, Minnesota getting revenge on us and all that. This is time for us to get revenge for what they did to us in our opening game at Bobby Dodd.
That's right. I still think we underestimated Minnesota going into that game. And I think that, you play that game again, we beat them badly. So,
guys, these stickers are really cool.
They are.
They are really cool. If you guys missed it at the beginning of the show,
if you
guys are outside of Atlanta, we just got some brand new stickers made. Thank you, Dan. for getting
you're
that done. These are premium vinyl stickers through Sticker Mule, and they're fantastic. They're waterproof, right?
Yes.
They're the waterproof option. We've been using them at home and putting them
up all around the town.
Put them on your water bottles, put them on your car, put them on your. I have my laptop is scattered with them.
Yeah,
They're both. They're both, Dean. They're both car stickers and laptop stickers.
whatever you want to put them on, just stick them.
Just stick them. Anyway, but
just
like we said,
to,
if you guys don't follow us on Twitter, if you guys are outside of Atlanta, DM us. I believe our account's open to be DM'd. Slide in
them DMs.
Just let us know your address if you guys want us to ship you a sticker or two. If not, we'll see you guys at the Toronto FC game at Mercedes-Benz Stadium at the Terminus Legion tailgate inside the Gulch.
Yep. So to that point, score predictions because we probably will take a hiatus next week.
Off topic. Seth Carter saying England's going to lose tomorrow. No, Seth. We don't lose in qualification. We do really well in qualification. It's just when the games matter.
All right. First of all, I don't want to hear this we bullshit whenever you're living in the United States anymore. You got to fucking pick your spot. Damn it. Anyway, score predictions for the Red Bulls, because we're not going to record next week, right? We got nothing to talk about.
I don't know. Maybe we do a bonus show. We'll see.
We need to do a regular show, me and you.
Yeah, that's true.
Fuck you, Dan.
Man, that hurts.
Yeah, Matthias, he says you guys need to be at the same time always. Is hard to follow live. This is our normal scheduled time, 9 o'clock on Wednesdays. But because of the recent fixtures happening midweek, we've been pushed to Thursdays. We've been pretty good about it.
Look, Matthias, we've already gotten 1 4-star review in iTunes for our scheduling. We don't need your lip too, damn it. Just kidding. Thanks for checking us out.
You want a sticker?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. And back to what I said before. If you do want stickers, we're willing to ship them out. The people that got grandfathered in, I can't do anything about you, but anybody else, you got to screen cap your review that you left on iTunes to validate to get some.
Okay, that's the
your
rule.
Incentive. That's your incentive. So, and if you're
to get a sticker, leave an iTunes review, screen cap it, and send it to us.
And if you're on Android, there's no excuse. Make an iTunes account.
Can't you just
do it in the browser?
Crap any review and just
you are a screen crap, Dan.
Did you guys? How about Dean Worley? He threatening us with a 1-star review on iTunes earlier this week.
Whatever. I threatened to block him because he said that iTunes or
Super Nintendo.
Yeah, he said that iPhone games were better than Super Nintendo games or something like that. All right, score predictions. We got a bunch coming in. Brittany S. 2-1 Atlanta. Elliot Bevan 3-3 Atlanta. Seth Carter 3-2 Atlanta. Hannah Monroe 2-0. Bradley Wright Phillips scores 2 goals. I think that's it. All right, Tim.
We got you, Richard Gordon. He says he has the second iTunes review from months ago. He was our second iTunes review. How about that?
Kevin doesn't follow up.
It's a true OG. Yeah. Kevin doesn't follow back. All he cares about is his ratios on Twitter. Look at me. I'm such a social.
I didn't realize that you were following me, Dean. I'm sorry. I'll follow you back. God.
God, I'm Kevin. I'm just such a social influencer.
Oh, you guys are the worst.
You follow me? Oh, that's cool.
I'm doing it now, you fuckers. Score predictions. Go,
retweet me.
Tim, what's your score prediction?
I will say it is.
Now I'm just going to make sure to CC Dean on every Clemson tweet.
I would say I'll agree with Dean. It's a 2-2 tie.
Who's Dean's college team? Did he say?
No. Is he a UGA guy? That'd be interesting. Are you guys college football fans? If so, put your team in the chat if you haven't already. Matthias Vasquez is out for like 6 to 8 weeks, I think. So I think he is gone for the rest of the season.
Good.
Dan, what's
you see the last time he came in? You see what happened? I'm glad he's out. Just kidding. Been saying it all season long.
All he needed to do was defend for 10 minutes.
Will you even get this reference? Elliot Bevan says Kevin the Sea Cucumber.
Sounds familiar, but no. Oh, is that from SpongeBob?
Yeah. We'll put pickles on it.
All right, Tim. Score.
I said 2-2.
Oh, fuck. Dan.
I'm going to go with 2-1.
Who?
AT motherfucking L.
Better lose that L. New York's going to take that L. It'd
New
just
York's
be
gonna
AT
take
at the
that,
end of
yeah.
that game. Put me down for 2-1 Atlanta. Dan just convinced me.
2-1 Atlanta. All three of us. Let's go, boys. Let's go, boys.
I can't watch 4 elbows at once to connect on the high fives.
All right, 2-1 across the board. I like it.
That was the weakest set of high fives I've ever seen. Richard Gordon says 3-2 Atlanta. Anything else? Anything else, guys? I think we have a couple other things in the works.
Oh, Hannah says Bama's going to lose this weekend.
I don't believe
Penn
that.
State all the way. Gross.
Yeah, Alabama just beat Ole Miss 66-3. I'm not thinking.
It's Ole Miss.
But that's still a FBS school. An FBS school getting beat 66-3 like that.
Troy just got beat by, or LSU just got beat by Troy. So
talking about point differential. Anyway, go Astros. Yes.
Gross.
No. So
Baseball.
Don't worry, Dean. If you want to keep wishing for Bama to lose, Clemson will beat them in the national championship again.
Dean mentioned.
Dude, that Kelly Bryant, man, he is something else.
Did you hear about him? He took I think somebody said something about him taking $150,000 at the beginning of the season.
No, I'm not surprised.
Yeah, I mean either. That's typical.
No,
Dabo pulls his
Dabo-
checkbook out.
No, Dabo Sweeney does not believe in paying players.
Oh,
does not believe
Christ.
that.
He has a wife to do that. What is his maximum ATM limit?
Thanks
per
for
day?
checking us out, guys.
There's no paper
This
trail on
is-
there's no paper trail on cash, right?
That's right.
No, whenever I gave those players improper benefits, I asked for a receipt for tax purposes.
One more thing you want to talk about. Did you hear about this whole FC Dallas, Orlando City, where FC Dallas may have to forfeit 3 points to Orlando City?
Wait, why?
Which gives Orlando City a lifeline to
In the playoffs?
Thank you, Seth Carter. Fuck you, Tim.
Oh god.
Did you hear about what's her face down in Orlando City?
Alex Morgan
Alex
kicked
Morgan
out of
got
Disney
kicked
World?
out of Disney
With
World.
half the freaking Orlando team? That is. I went to her. She apologized on Twitter, so I checked on it, and everyone's like, "You didn't need to apologize. You didn't need to." Well, actually, you do. Because
And then did somebody
you're
post
a celebrity?
that? Too late to apologize. So put that song on there.
All right, guys. Thanks for checking us out. DM us, slide into them on Twitter, Home Before Dark. That's before spelled B and the number 4. You can find us all individually. Kevin does not follow back, but you can find me at the Architect. That's at the_ARC. Number 1,
The Uber dork.
CT. Tim, where can they find you at?
You can just find me tweeting from the show. Or you can find me at Tim Herb, but most likely I'm just going to be tweeting from the show.
Some musical chairs between me and Tim. On who's
It's
tweeting.
fun. I wasn't the one being a Debbie Downer last night.
or during the show
Dan, where can they find you at?
at DNJMS.
Thanks for checking us out, guys. We love the hell out of you. We'll be back after next week, and we'll have Dean Worley on. You've heard us talk about him in the live chat, and he'll have a fresh set of stickers, just like you guys can if you DM us. And catch us at the Terminus Legion for the Toronto game, where we break the single game attendance record for the second time in one season. And
That roof better be open.
and lock up our third place in the playoffs. So
That's right.
we're looking forward to that. Love the hell out of you guys. Thanks for checking us out. As always, be home before dark.
As Dean said, or as I told Dean, if you're not home before dark,
Go pick out your Switch.
yep, you get whippings. Go pick out a switch, boy.